Hello, EKN Nation. Welcome to a new edition of the EKN Debrief, where we will wrap up the coverage, EKN trackside coverage, of this past weekend's Race Rotax RMC US Trophy Final. Final ticket for the Rotax Grand Finals in Bahrain, locked and loaded down at Newcastle Motorsports Park on the October 17th to 19th weekend. This is episode number 157 of the Debrief, Tuesday, October 21st, 2025. My name's Rob Howden, joined by the man who was trackside throughout the entire weekend, David Cole. We'll dive into it. Before we do that, let's introduce this week's show sponsor, Odenthal Racing Products. Motor mounts are critical to transferring 100% of your engine's power to the track to get you on the podium every time. Odenthal Racing Products provides the best motor mounts in the karting market today. Odenthal Racing Products is a family-owned and operated business with decades of karting experience, providing products with unmatched quality and value for the karting community. Check out their Pro Series mount for 2-cycle engines and their 4-cycle Easy Set mount for the Briggs 206 power plant. Head to OdenthalRacing.com and find a dealer near you. Odenthal Racing Products, made in the USA. All right, David Cole, you were trackside from Thursday on for this fantastic race. We'll hit the by the numbers in this segment as well. But let's just have a quick look at the overview. Again, the event, as I said, taking place October 17th to the 19th. You guys were done pretty early on Sunday at Newcastle Motorsports Park. But again, the fourth straight year for the event at Newcastle.
Yeah, having only 5 categories certainly allows for the schedule to kind of be a bit more condensed compared to other events throughout the karting season. And yeah, it was again returning back to Newcastle Motorsports Park, 4th straight year there. Moving back to October, last year was in August, I believe, if I recall correctly. So a little bit warmer weather then, but this year was really nice, warm and sunny on Friday and Saturday, a bit overcast towards the end of Saturday as the weather system started moving in through the whole state of Indiana. It was a massive rain front that came through, storm front that came through. So we got some rain overnight on Sunday. Luckily, we got to the racetrack. It was just a wet track and no rain. So, and we were trying to get everything in before the rain hit. Unfortunately, didn't happen. With the Senior Max, the last class on track, and obviously precipitation played a big role in how that race unfolded. So, Dave,
when you and I talked before during the weekend, I guess the concern was about wind, right? You guys were talking; they were kind of looking at how they were going to approach Sunday because not only, obviously, I think you guys knew the front was coming through, but there was a big concern about some pretty severe wind as well.
Yeah, I was going to hit that in the paddock pass, but I'll do that now.
We'll come back around.
Okay, what? Your call.
We'll go back. I like that. Go to the paddock pass. Hold, folks. More information coming there. But yeah, David, like you said, and I watched some of the coverage, of course, from the races. The rain did come, and it kind of made things pretty exciting for the last race, as you were saying there.
Yeah, certainly did. Again, anytime you do have that, I mean, Newcastle is always good for that. We've seen it with our weekends there for Cup Karts North America Grand Nationals, Rotax. We've seen it before a couple years ago, not last year so much, but a couple years ago as well. So again, you just never quite know what the weather is going to do in central Indiana.
Let's have a look at the by the numbers. Back in 2022, the initial race of this U.S. Trophy Final, the inaugural event, 76 entries, bump up to 103 in 2023, back down to 72 in 2024. But here in 2025, they did set a new record, David, in terms of, and remember, you said only 5 categories as well, but they set a record at 104 entries, one better than 2023, with a high watermark in Senior Max at 37. Pretty solid.
Yeah, really solid. And I think part of that was the regional programs they've kind of established. They had the Great Lakes Sprint Series running throughout Ohio and Pennsylvania with 3 events. You had the Texas Karting League down in the Lone Star State that is kind of helping to kind of get that base back up going with the Rotax brand. They actually recognized the top regional driver in all the categories, and there's certainly a ton of them in the Senior Max, but also in the Junior Max and Mini Max as well too, where we saw 31 and 23 in terms of entries for those two categories. And again, it also helps. Those were the three categories that had the Rotax Grand Finals tickets up for grabs. So again, you're getting the international drivers coming over to compete in those categories. You're getting drivers who typically don't race Rotax coming and trying for that elusive ticket that you have to earn in order to compete at the Rotax Grand Finals. But yeah, Senior Max, the largest at 37. And again, they look to see hopefully grow that number even more. We didn't have any of the DD2 categories, so that's a bit different from the West program that we did have. So, but yeah, with no tickets in Masters Max and Micro Max, we only had 7 and 6 in those two categories. So again, I think if there were tickets available for those two categories, it would certainly help bump up the overall entry total.
Yeah, and I think, David, when you look at the drivers that aren't going there for tickets, they're more there for the prestige of the event, right? So the more Rotax grows, if they can continue to do what they've done over the last number of years, building new programs, like you mentioned, the Texas Karting League, some more regional programs, this becomes that one big national at the end of the year that all the Rotax drivers can maybe aspire to winning, whether it's micro, whether it's masters, those drivers coming in. I think that those numbers will grow if they continue to add more and more regional programs. But like you said, 37 in Senior Max, 31 in Junior Max. If you're over 30 in those categories, you think about it, 5 classes. If you hit 30 in each, you're 150. That's kind of the high watermark, right? If you hit 30, 40 would get you to 200, but you're not going to get 40 micros. You're not going to get 40 masters the way it stands, not running after tickets. But to have Junior Max and Senior Max both over 30, I think that speaks volumes for what they've been able to do over the last couple of years.
Yeah, I think a 130 would be a good benchmark to hit. I don't think we'd quite get 30 in Masters. I think that's kind of asking a little too much in terms of trying to get that. But you figure at least 4 categories at 30, that gets you 120. Yep. And we actually had racers that did not show, that entered, that we talked about in the outlap. So there were drivers that did withdraw from the event before attending. There were a couple drivers that were actually hurt in practice on Friday, so they weren't able to compete the rest of the weekend. But again, definitely room for improvement. Again, setting the event high total number after 4 years. It's a good progression for this event and for the Rotax program.
Indeed, the U.S. Trophy Final resetting the bar at 104 entries for this edition of that event. Again, the show today brought to you by Odenthal Racing Products. This is episode 157 of the EKN Debrief. When we get back after this break, we'll jump into the paddock pass, and David will then talk about what happened with the weather that was coming in. We kind of jumped the gun on that one there, at least I did. He'll have that as part of Paddock Pass. Lots to talk about when we get back on this edition of the Debrief. History, success, family. Those are the 3 words that can describe Comet Kart Sales, one of the longest tenured karting businesses in the United States. The family-owned operation, located just outside of Indianapolis, has provided karts, parts, and services for thousands of racers in the near 6 decades of business. Their online store features everything you need, continually adding new parts to their product line. From full karting packages, new engines, spare or replacement parts, and safety gear, find it all at CometKartSales.com. Their Comet Racing Engine service has won multiple major events and championships over decades of karting and continues to offer the best trackside service in the industry, specializing in IAME X30, IAME Swift, and other 2-cycle power plants. Make sure to head to CometKartSales.com or call them at 317-462-3413 to be part of the Comet Kart Sales family today.
Welcome to AIM Sports and the groundbreaking Micron 6 karting data logger. Since its inception, AIM Sports has been at the forefront of motorsport technology, revolutionizing how racers gather data. From its early days, AIM has tailored its innovations to provide precise insights, allowing racers to fine-tune their strategies and push their limits. Fast forward to today, and we're excited to celebrate 30 years of Micron by introducing the latest evolution in karting data loggers, the Micron 6. Designed with cutting-edge features, including 25 Hz GPS with mil-spec precision, a 6-axis inertial platform, shift lights and alarms, temperature inputs, and a host of wired and wireless expansions. With 2 CAN buses, Bluetooth, and Wi-Fi, it's perfect for karting enthusiasts looking to enhance their game on the track. With its advanced suite of sensors, high-speed data acquisition, and easy-to-use interface, the Micron 6 delivers unparalleled performance on track. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, this powerful tool helps you analyze every turn, every lap, even every heartbeat. Imagine a tool that not only records your lap times, but also analyzes parameters like speed, tire temperature, driver inputs, and engine performance. With the Micron 6, you'll gain insights that can shave seconds off your times and elevate your skills behind the wheel. Don't just drive, be data-driven. Join the AIM Sports community today and equip yourself with the Micron 6 to take your karting experience to the next level. Visit aimsports.com to learn more. AIM Sports, 30 years of Micron.
Back at it for episode 157 of the EKN Debrief that caps off our trackside coverage from this year's U.S. Trophy Final, the Race Rotax event down at Newcastle Motorsports Park on the October 17th to 19th weekend. Tickets, of course, going out to the Grand Finals in Bahrain in December. Now we work our way into the Paddock Pass here. Rob Howden alongside David Cole. Paddock Pass presented by Sodi Racing USA. What brand is known around the world for its innovation and success? It is SodiKart. The Sodi brand returned in full force during 2023 thanks to a new exclusive importer, the karting distribution led by industry veteran Terry Germanovich. The French manufacturer SodiKart is a leader within the karting industry, offering a wide range of products and services. Visit sodi-racing-usa.com to learn more about the SodiKart chassis or call 954-634-5111 to become part of the Sodi Racing USA network today. SodiKart, the world leader in the karting industry. All right, David, I didn't get a chance to get all the way through this when I was getting myself ready for the show, so I jumped the gun on you here in return in terms of the weather that was coming in, the wind that you and I talked about. Let's talk about how things kind of changed because of that.
Well, prior to even the weather forecast that was happening hourly, they changed the format of the event with the no DD2 competition. So they had obviously less race groups. So they actually added a third heat race. Prior to that, it was supposed to be 2 heats and a pre-final. So they did revise the schedule to include 3 heat races, so giving all the competitors more racing. And the pre-final and finals were scheduled on Sunday, but they moved the pre-finals to Saturday. Due to the weather forecast that was coming for Sunday. It was forecasted to be very high winds with gusts up to 60 miles an hour for Sunday. So there was weren't quite sure exactly what to expect. So let's say Friday, I think the pre-finals were still set for Saturday for Sunday. And then Saturday morning with the forecast, they're like, well, let's move the pre-finals to Saturday so we can at least get those in. And depending on weather, what we can do on Sunday. And so it was a warm-up, qualifying, 3 heat races, and pre-final all on Saturday. Woo! So it made for a busy day. Now, prior to that, the Thursday and Friday practice days were go, 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 because, again, when you only have 4 race groups, you don't have a lot of time to make a lot of changes. So on Thursday, the unofficial practice day, everybody was joking around. They said they had like 17 sessions on the day of just, nonstop track open. So it was a busy day there. Even on Friday, drivers were taking sessions off because there wasn't very much time in between the practice sessions, but they did get 7 sessions on the day. The final one was 15 minutes with a hot pit. So again, provided people with a longer run compared to the other sessions. So that was a bit crazy in terms of that, because it was just kind of a go day. But even Saturday felt that way, but it didn't, because it was racing. So it was a little bit longer gaps between getting back on the racetrack. So so with that format change, they did run the pre-finals on Saturday, and then Sunday, as we said, luckily we got there, it was a wet racetrack, but it wasn't raining. So they got the warm-ups done and they went right into the main events, no breaks, bang, bang, bang. 6 sessions, essentially what it was, three warm-ups and 3 finals, because the Masters group decided to not run on Sunday. Majority of them convinced the rest of the other drivers to not race on Sunday. So their pre-final on Saturday was actually their final.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, there were 6 drivers in the field. They were looking, there's no tickets up for grabs. So like you said, it's bragging rights. And
Okay.
rather than, sit around and wait and see what the weather is going to do and have the chaos of possible winds and the craziness that was really forecasted on Sunday, they elected not to compete on Sunday.
Leave it to the Masters drivers to gang up and say, no, we're good. We're not going to run in that. All right, David, what else you got for the paddock pass for us here from trackside?
Yeah, so Friday getting there, there was an influx of I guess familiar faces, because we've worked with them in the past, but SRA Karting and the Rotax Max Challenge Canada was part of the official staff that was there working with Race Rotax. So a lot of the more eyes on the racetrack, video cameras as well too, as their staff came down to help officiate the on track and even help with tech as well too. So kind of a collaboration between Canada and USA with that, including race director Stephen Hubert, who was the new race director for the event. Prior, it was Christopher McCrone as the previous race director.
So yeah, indeed. So obviously, we talk a lot about how strong Rotax remains in Canada, has for many, many years. So good idea to bring some veteran people involved with SRA Karting down to work with those from Race Rotax as well. Great call there. A couple of bits you came up with, David, that you posted through the Paddock Insider throughout the early days of the weekend. First and foremost was Billy Musgrave being trackside with a new factory karts chassis. I found that really interesting.
Yeah, not just Billy, but a host of drivers that are racing on the revised single-speed factory karts that they do have. They've spent the last couple months working on new tubing, little bit new design, a little bit new this and that. Actually painted the kart. They don't quite have a name for it yet, but it was its debut with John Crow Racing and Masters, Billy and Senior, but also Cooper Auclair Racing making his factory karts debut, along with Troy Ferguson in the Junior Max category. They also had Jake French, who was racing that same model, new version, down at the Texas Sprint Racing Series. So there's a lot of phone calls between Indiana and Texas. Jake actually went to Phoenix to work with Factory Karts on testing this new version of the chassis. And so again, a lot of feedback from Texas. It actually, I think, helped Billy a little bit. They had rain down in Texas, so when the rain came on Sunday, they kind of had a little bit of an idea of where to go. Yeah. Obviously, different tires with the Mojo tires compared to the Vinco tires down there for the Texas event. But again, a lot's going on with that as well.
Yeah, I like to see that. Again, an American-made chassis, and Billy Musgrave, as we know, one of the legends of the sport, and has been around for a number of years. And that new program for factory karts is going to be something we'll continue to watch as it develops. Last but not least, David, one of the obviously big things coming in was the focus on Oliver Hodgson. He had dominated the action of the U.S. Trophy Final for the first 3 years, winning all 3 of them. But some information there as well. Give us some insight into Hodgson as he was battling or focused on trying to win that 4th event.
Well, the focus around him, aside from trying to go for a 4th title, was the actual chassis he was on and competing with. It's a prototype comp kart. When you look at the kart, you very recognize the look of it because the seat strut is very similar to that of a factory kart.
Okay.
So that is all I could get information wise out of everyone, both with factory karts and Oliver Hodgson. They agreed to say it was a prototype chassis. Still nothing in the works yet on exactly what they're doing, but it was very hard to miss because if you've seen a factory kart, they have these unique seat struts that are essentially plates both on the front and on the sides of the cart, on the chassis. So it's not the tube style chassis struts you see on all the standardized cart that you see across the world. So that really stood out. And again, they were very quiet on exactly what's going on, and could not confirm or deny anything else other than it is a prototype comp cart.
There you go. Straight up. That's all Dave was able to get. More to come on that for sure as we, of course, head into the big races here to cap off the final months of the 2025 season. All right. We're done with Paddock Pass. When we get back, let's get at it. Let's dive into the race report. We'll start things off with Senior Max and Junior Max. This edition of the Debrief continues after this break. Parolin is among the winningest brands in the USA and around the world. The Parolin Le Mans full-size chassis for junior and senior classes and the Parolin Opportunity model for cadet divisions have earned success weekend after weekend at all the major championships and events in both the USA and throughout Europe. The Parolin chassis lineup also includes the Invader shifter, along with the Daytona 4-cycle chassis and the Delfino Kid Kart. Karters can head to the ParolinUSA.com website where the entire chassis line and parts are available to you, with shipping available all across North America. Parolin USA partners with several companies and race teams across the country to provide a strong dealer network to represent the brand locally and at the national level to support drivers throughout North America. Get on the chassis that's winning. Drive a Parolin. Fast, fair, and fun. Ignite Karting offers you all of that at an affordable price. Ignite Karting utilizes the spec Margay Ignite K3 chassis with a Briggs & Stratton 206 engine and the Hoosier R80 tire. Everyone in the rookie, junior, senior, heavy, and masters classes compete on the same Ignite K3 chassis, which puts all the emphasis squarely on driver development. Additionally, Ignite Karting is accessible at the local, regional, and national level. Special events for the season include the Ignite Majors that begin with the annual trip to the Daytona International Speedway as part of the WKA Daytona Kart Week, running in both the sprint and road racing events. Those in the Midwest can enjoy the regionally based Ignite Challenge, featuring 5 iconic facilities. Local club programs have also been established in states all across the country, Idaho to Texas, Nebraska to New York, with more tracks and clubs joining the Ignite Karting program. Be part of fast, fun, and great memories with Margay Racing at an Ignite track near you. All information on Ignite events and Ignite kart packages, including dealers in your area, are available at ignitekarting.com. Get off the couch and onto the track this year. Ignite Karting. Fuel your passion. We are back with episode 157 of the EKN Debrief, capping off our EKN trackside coverage of this past weekend's Race Rotax RMC US Trophy Final from Newcastle Motorsports Park. David Cole was trackside throughout the weekend, providing fantastic coverage all weekend long. Let's dive now into the race report, really talk about the wheel-to-wheel action. Race report today, presented by Stilo USA. As a world leader in personal racing safety products, Simpson Performance Products is now the official North American distributor for Stilo helmets. In addition to their popular auto racing helmets, Stilo is excited to have made their move into karting. Stilo has 3 helmets designed and manufactured specifically for karting: the ST5 CMR and the ST5 KRT helmets, including the new ST5 CMR Carbon. Complete your safety gear with the Stilo Carbon Curva Rib and Chest Protector. For more information, check them out at stilohelmets.com or by following them on social media at Stilo USA. All right, David, we talked about it in the Paddock Pass. Oliver Hodgson looking to try to win 4 straight U.S. Trophy Final main events. And in Senior Max, here is the headline, and it fills exactly that line. Hodgson earns 4th straight in wet comeback.
Yeah, it did not appear that it was going to unfold that way, but anything can happen in racing, and that's what we saw throughout the weekend. Again, the story, going into the actual action on Saturday was Paulie Massimino making his first Rotax start of his career. Essentially was the driver to beat all throughout practice and ended up being the top qualifier with a 102.984, nearly half a second quicker than the 2024 pole time that was set in August of 2024. Rob, that's one thing. I have it in the warm or in the wrap up, but I don't know if it was going from cup carts to Rotax, but the Rotaxes just seemed so fast. Like they were going 100 miles an hour around the racetrack.
Yeah, right.
But I just even compared like thinking Miami stuff, like it's just, I don't know what it was, but I don't know if it's the reverse direction that just makes them look so much faster. But it was phenomenal to watch the speeds of the Senior Max guys all weekend long.
The contrast, right? So cool.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So Massimino ended up winning the opening heat race to get over Oliver Hodgson and Cooper Auclair. But the British driver, the Wales driver, Cameron Nelson, coming through with the win in heat number 2 over Massimino and Hodgson. Then it ended up being Canadian Jensen Burnett taking a heat win over Hodgson and Nelson. So 3 different heat race winners across the board, but it was Massimino who was the most consistent out of all of them, as he held on the pole position for the pre-final over Oliver Hodgson, Nelson, Cooper Auclair, and Jensen Burnett. The pre-final was run at the end of Saturday, so you figure by then people are starting to figure out the setup. So there's a lot of drivers that made headway there, probably had issues in some of the other heats, but drivers were making their way forward. But it was actually Massimino that still kind of showed the way throughout that race. Ahead of Nelson, but it was Frankie Mossman moving up 6 positions to finish 3rd, ahead of Jensen Burnett, while Antoine Lemieux moved up 20 positions to finish 5th in that pre-final. So certainly helped his starting position into the main event, but it was still Massimino and Nelson on the front row for the main event, alongside or ahead of Jensen Burnett and Cooper Auclair, with Frankie Mossman now starting in the 5th position for the main event. Hodgson actually had an issue in the pre-final, a little bit of contact, dropped him down to 28th in the order of the pre-final. But thankfully, with the heat race points and the pre-final points put together, he was only 7th on the grid for the main event. And as we talked about, Rob, in the previous segments, the rain did come. It wasn't much of a rain, but it was enough to make the racetrack a little bit damp. And nobody on the Senior Max field went out on rain tires. Everybody was on the dry Mojo tires, which, and him, Tommy Trailer, started dead last. And I asked him, why would you not go out on rain tires? He's like, we felt so good on dry tires. We didn't want to gamble. I'm thinking to myself, Rob, if you're starting dead last in a field of 37 drivers, why wouldn't you gamble?
Especially if you think it could be coming, man, go for it.
It was. I mean, you could see the clouds were darkening up, so it was going to rain. There was no doubt about it, because that was the thing. That's the thing with Newcastle. The rain comes out of nowhere. It just pops up, and that's exactly what it was doing as we got into the Senior Max main event. So all the drivers on dry tires, they get the race started. It was chaos in the offline parts of the racetrack, and that certainly showed in the Senior Max start. Guys went off racetrack in I-70. Some drivers got turned around backwards, jumping on top of one another. It was kind of chaotic opening corner, not what you want to see for a main event start. But that allowed essentially Massimino and Nelson to just run away from the rest of the field. So over the opening 5 laps, dry racetrack, again, going offline, a little bit damp. So that's where the tricky part certainly was. But then by lap 5, that is when the rain came. That's when the precipitation came down. And again, it wasn't a consistent rain. It was like it rained for like 30 seconds, stop. Rain for 30 seconds, stop. But it was enough to make the track very damp and very tricky for these drivers on dry tires to go a full, what they do, 16 laps. I'm trying to remember the total here. Yeah, 16 laps. So they essentially had to do 11 laps on a wet racetrack and dry tires. So concentration to the max.
No kidding.
Massimino, a little bit not the rain racer that the drivers from Wales or the driver from the UK, including Oliver Hodgson, were. So as the race went on, we saw Massimino get run down by Nelson. Nelson took the lead, but quickly went off racetrack. Lap 6, he went off the racetrack trying to navigate the wet circuit. That allowed Massimino to retake the lead. Nelson slid into second, but all while that was going on, Hodgson was moving his way forward. He escaped that turn 1 situation to be in the battle for third when the track was dry. But as soon as it started getting wet, he was the one that was on the move, and certainly among the quickest drivers on the racetrack as well. So Massimino led after Nelson made that mistake, but Nelson retook the lead on lap 8. And then by lap 11, it was Hodgson taking over the second spot away from Massimino, who was gladly kind of just hanging on. It was like, okay, let's just see what Oliver's going to do. Let's see if Oliver can run down Nelson. Well, as that happened, Nelson went off at I-70 on that next lap.
Wow.
Completely off the racetrack. And all he could do was watch Hodgson and Massimino just drive right by. But he did rejoin the racetrack in the third spot, but lost a lot of ground. And that was essentially the race. Hodgson just continued to power laps down on the wet racetrack with dry tires, pulling away to a 3.597 margin of victory to claim a 4th straight U.S. Trophy final victory.
Wow, Paulie Massimino able to hold on to second spot. Trying to learn as much as he could when Hodgson went by. Nelson did hold on for second, like David said. David Cooper Auclair finishing 4th. Ryan Raffa in 5th. There's some information about Raffa coming in 5th. He actually didn't cross P5, did he?
Yeah, it was actually Caleb Gaffera who started 7th, but was involved in that turn 1 wreck where he was actually backwards and got driven over top of, nose to rear, just driven over and got going, rejoined, I believe, in the 27th position and just powered his way through, got all the way up into the 5th position. So passed 22 karts in that 16-lap span. Unfortunately, a pushback bumper, maybe when he got run over. I don't know. It was a very hard hit. So that took away the 5th place position and moved him down to 7th, promoting Ryan Raffa into the 5th position.
Would he not have been able to get that reviewed if it was the contact from the wreck? Or?
Well, I don't believe Rotax allows pushback bumper to be reviewed.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's, again, different standards because it's Rotax. They're very FIA oriented in terms of that. We've seen that with McCrone the last few years.
Yeah.
So I don't believe they are allowed to review the pushback bumper.
All right, there you go. All right, let's move into Junior Max. And again, congratulations to Oliver Hodgson. Wasn't the easiest way to get it done, but took full advantage of the rain and used his incredible skills to be able to work his way forward to almost a 3.6 second victory, as David had illustrated. Let's go to Junior Max right now. Here's the headline. Malkiet lands 2nd Rotax title since 2020.
Yeah, Junior Max, a great battle all weekend long. A lot of international flavor to this, including top qualifier Alexis Belgeron. Did I say that right?
So not bad.
All right. Bella, well, then how do you say it?
Yeah, Belgeron.
Yeah. The Canadian was quickest, a 104.753 to lead the way. But again, it was 2 drivers that were winning the heat races, including the driver from the country of Georgia, Mate. I can say it, but I can't say it.
That is super. Is it Kobahitsky?
Kobahitsky, yeah.
Kobahitsky? Hidzi?
Yeah.
Kobahitsky.
Kobek Hidsi, I believe.
That's a tough one.
I almost thought Henry said kamikaze, but he didn't.
And is it Mate or Mate?
Mate, yes, Mate.
Let's call it Mate from now on. It'll be easy for you.
Mate, yeah. So he was driving with the now I can't say the team name. It starts with a P.
I don't know what it is.
PFAFF. PFAFF.
Oh, FAF. It's just FAF.
FAF. Yeah.
FAF Racing.
FAF Racing.
Legendary Canadian car dealership and motorsports team.
Yeah. So yeah, they had a lot of the international drivers under their tent, including Mate. In in their stable. And he really looked to be the driver to be in junior, winning the opening heat race ahead of Belageron and Malkit. Malkit, however, came through with the win in heat number 2 ahead of Alexia. And I can't say his name. Mate came through with the win in heat number 3 ahead of Belageron, and Nico Katowski making his way up into the 3rd spot as he continually got quicker and quicker as the weekend went on. So heat points were tabulated with Mate in the 1st position ahead of Belageron in 2nd, Malkit 3rd, Katowski 4th, and then Troy Ferguson on the factory carts starting the pre-final in the 5th position. The pre-final, bits of a battle with Mate getting into contact, ended up not finishing the race. So he finished in the 30th spot. So definitely did not help him on the main event grid position, as he would not be able to finish the pre-final, as Belageron went on to take the win ahead of Malkit by a big margin, because it was a battle for 2nd in that race, as Malkit beat out Kid, Sebastian Rist, and Landon Buer. Kid moved up 5 positions, Rist 8 positions, Buer 10. So it was kind of like that Newcastle thing. The locals knew what the track was like at the end of the day. That's when they got to be their fastest. And It was quite a unique perspective in terms of that. So with the pre-final completed, the main event grid was set with Belageron in the pole position alongside Malkit, Kid in Ferguson in row 2, and then Sebastian Rist starting in the 5th position. So with a DNF, Mate was started back in P8 to start the main event, but he was the driver on the move. Certainly came up. And again, when this race started, they were all on rain tires with the exception of one driver, Davin Roberts, already part of Team USA. They didn't want to go out on rain tires. They had year-old rain tires. They figured it wouldn't be good. So they gambled. They went out on their dry tires. Unfortunately, it didn't pay off. The unique part about it, Rob, the rain tires actually got faster and faster and faster, even though the track was drying.
Really? Wow.
All the way to the end of the race. So it was a very unique thing, but also Roberts got quicker and quicker and quicker as the race went on. So I think it was about a half-second difference between fast lap on the rain tire and fast lap for Davin Roberts on dry tire. So very, again, colder temperatures, so not warm, no sun, lots of wind. So very unique conditions, but again, that I think the Mojo rain tires are a little bit different from what everybody else is used to. So with that, everybody on rain tires, and Mate was the quickest driver at the start of the main event. He went up and challenged Belageron early for the lead. Eventually, however, it was Malkit taking over the lead on lap 8, and that was it. Malkit got faster and faster and faster as the laps went on, literally clocking in his fastest lap of the race, the fastest lap overall on the last lap of the race, going out to win by nearly 6 seconds to claim the Junior Max title.
Belageron coming home in 2nd, Kobahidze, Mate in 3rd spot, Marco Samet up into 4th, and Troy Ferguson there to cap off the top 5. We didn't talk much about Marco Samet. David, was he kind of outside the top 5 for a majority of the day?
Contact in the opening heat race, kind of was top 5 for most of the day, most of the weekend. Certainly got, he had the pace, just didn't have the luck, and was right there kind of trailing the top 3 early on, but they got a little bit quicker. He wasn't able to stay up.
So there you go. Isaac Malkit getting the ticket to go to Bahrain, part of Team USA. We'll go to another break. When we come back, the Steel USA Race Report will continue. In fact, we'll cap things off with Mini, Micro, and Masters Max. What brand is known around the world for its innovation and success? It is SodiCart. The Sodi brand returned in full force during the 2023 season thanks to a new exclusive importer, the karting distribution led by industry veteran Terry Germanovich. The French manufacturer SodiCart is a leader within the karting industry, offering a wide range of products and services. The Sodi Racing chassis line offers products in classes from mini karts to KZ, all based on years of development and championship seasons around the world. Sodi Racing USA has expanded its dealer network over the last year, bringing the Sodi brand to several local clubs and regional programs. Sodi USA by Velocity Racing is the official race team in the United States for the brand, hitting all the major events and series throughout the season. Visit Sodi-Racing-USA.com to learn more about the Sodi Kart chassis or call 954-634-5111 to become part of the Sodi Racing USA network today. Sodi Kart, the world leader in the karting industry. Ready to step up your game? Joining the Rawlison Performance Group is the obvious choice to take your racing to the next level. Industry-leading driver development is provided by our staff of multi-time national champions, Super Nationals winners, and Team USA members. And at the same time, RPG continues to be a national-level powerhouse race team. Our goal is to help you raise your game and win races. We work with all age groups and are focused on developing those cadet and junior drivers who are ready to take the next step in their racing program. Rawlison Performance Group has set a new standard with our in-house engine program, AVP Engines, headed by Alex Vincent. AVP has become the benchmark in IAME competition. We have the largest OTK inventory that follows our race team, providing trackside parts at all the major events in North America. RPG also offers multilingual support with French, Spanish, and Portuguese-speaking staff. If you want to fight for championships or want to improve your skills and your chances to win, the answer is to call RPG at 503-260-4514. The Rawlison Performance Group. We race to win. Back at it here to cap off the race report for this year's U.S. Trophy Final for Race Rotax. David Cole was trackside at Newcastle Motorsports Park for that event. Let's dive in and continue into the race reports. We'll go to Mini Max. I'll throw out the headline. David will continue to fill us in with the action on track. Here's the headline for Mini Max. Chevrolet wins first major race in USA.
Rob, that's the great thing about cadet racing. It's always fun to watch, and this was a good one all weekend long. It was the British driver, Arthur Farrow, who was the top driver and seemed to be the driver to beat all weekend long, posting fast time in qualifying a 107.922. It was Farrow that took the win in Heat 1, but Rob, I forgot to mention this in the paddock pass. The micro drivers were allowed to run the full mini package, so including weights, exhaust, everything. So essentially, they ran these two categories together as one race group, but still scored separately based on obviously age. And ironically, Jack Katowski, the Micro Max driver, won the overall in heat number 1.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So certainly had the pace, qualified second overall with the combined group. Unfortunately, he just had some issues in heat 2 and heat 3, so wasn't quite up there to battle with the rest of the front running mini max guys. But we'll talk more about Katowski later in the micro max. So, but Farrow was the top driver in mini through qualifying in all 3 heat races, picking up the win. But again, close battles all day long, winning the opening round ahead of Cheveri and Holden Myers. The second heat was over Hudson Howard and Myers as well. And then it was Myers in second ahead of Cheveri in the third spot in heat number 3. So Farrow earned the pole position for the pre-final alongside Holden Myers, Samuel Cheveri in the third spot, Hudson Howard fourth, and then Massimo LaRusso in the fifth position, the lone CRG driver of the event, I believe, starting the pre-final in the fifth spot. In the pre-final, it was Farrow that took the win over Hudson Howard, the local driver from Indianapolis, finishing in second ahead of Cheveri, the Costa Rica driver, with Myers down to fourth, and then Lennox Lockhart moving up 5 positions to finish fifth. So again, very close racing all day long on that Saturday, but it was still Farrow that led the way all day long as he was the pole position driver for the main event. Cheveri starting on the outside of the front row, Myers and Howard in row 2, and then Lockhart now starting in the fifth position. So the top 6 essentially were running together This, again, as we said, the junior max was the first on racetrack, mini and micro was second. The racetrack drying up during the junior max race. So all the mini drivers, all the front runners essentially went out on dry tires. So all the top six running together. Farrow was moved back to second early on by Cheveri, taking the lead early, and then sat back behind him. Didn't really pressure him. Kind of was just bidding his time, I think, kind of waiting. And again, there were 2 tickets up for grabs in the mini max division. Yeah. So sitting first and second, you're kind of happy. You're good where you are. Unfortunately, lap 12 with the combined micro and mini group, the mini drivers ran into some lap traffic. One of the micro drivers was receiving the blue flag. Unfortunately, Cheveri got through fine, but it was Farrow who got the worst of it as the lap traffic driver kind of moved side to side, made contact with Farrow as they entered the double lefts, which are at the far end of the racetrack. That allowed both Howard and I believe it was Myers, that was the other driver, to get through. So that pushed Farrow back into fourth and put Howard in the runner-up position with 2 laps remaining. Farrow got back into the P3 position, and then after taking the white flag, was able to pass Howard through the I-70 corner. Howard went off on the exit, could possibly have been a little bit of contact. I couldn't quite see from my vantage point, but the result was Howard has all 4 wheels off in the grass and essentially lost ground and lost a chance to battle for that second position as he fell back to the 6th spot. Up front, however, it was Cheveri that went cruising, got the cruise control for the final 2 laps after that lap traffic allowed him to get away as he went on to score the win, winning by 3.6 seconds, while Farrow held off the group for the second position and was able to cross the line. So it's Costa Rica and the UK finishing 1-2.
Wow, and that's where the tickets went for the Mini-Max category. Holden Myers coming home in third on the comp cart. Massimo LaRusso on the CRG, as David said, in fourth, and Connor Lipka on the comp cart, rounding out the top 5. Let's go to Micromax, David. Here's the headline. We talked a bit about it already because he had the pace to run up front with all the older drivers as well. Here's the headline for Micromax. Katowski, impressive in first Rotax victory.
Yeah, very impressive. And again, the micro drivers all on the mini max setups in terms of engine and weight. So just separated by the age that they are. So Jack Katowski, a qualified P2 overall, a 108.422. So nearly just half a second off Farrow's time, but was 1.5 seconds quicker than the next micro driver.
Man.
So as we said, Katowski went P1 overall in the race group. Unfortunately, contact in the opening lap of heat number 2 took Katowski out of the race. That allowed the driver from Mexico, Andres Marcelo Pena, to win the race for the micro division, while in heat number 3, more contact. I believe he got into contact twice during the third heat race, took him out of that race. That allowed Jack Clem to take the heat win in heat number 3. But Katowski went on to score the pre-final win, winning by nearly 5 seconds over the next micro driver, finishing P15 overall. And then in the main event, a couple of the micro drivers did go out on wet tires, and it looked to be good for them, including Kuiper Nelson, who jumped out to the lead over the opening first 2 laps. Unfortunately, contact and spinning around took him out of the lead early on, he fell back to the tail of the field. That allowed Katowski to take over the lead, and he went powered on to take the win, winning by 48 seconds.
I don't think we've ever said that before in these shows. That's a massive victory. Obviously, was he able to hook up with the guys in the mini class and be in that race group up front?
He just continued to knife his way through the field. I don't have where he finished overall. I believe it was 10th. Or close to the top 10. Let me see here. I don't have it here. They separated it on my results.
Kuiper Nelson ends up finishing in second after the early spin, as David has said. Heat 3 winner Jack Klim coming home in third. Andres Marcelo Pena in fourth. And Grayson Knefik ends up in the fifth position. Good run there for Jack Katowski to come away with the win in micro. And David, this will be easy because you can lay it down. But, man, no main event for the drivers in Masters Max as they got all together, as you mentioned before. But here's the headline for Masters Max. Bonanno wins second since 2020.
Yeah, it was the Bonanno show. JB dominated the weekend. Got challenged later on Saturday, but a 105.093 was his quick time in qualifying. And then he went on to win all three heat races. John Crow finishing second. And then Scott Roberts making a return back to karting, finishing third in all three heat races. So again, it was Bonanno, Crow, Roberts, Chris McGinley, and Doug Foxworth making up the grid for what was on the schedule as a pre-final, but ended up being their final. It was Roberts, however, jumping out to the lead from the third spot, got good on the cold tires early on, but Bonanno came through by lap 4 and was able to take over the lead. And from there, drove away to a 5-second margin of victory, picking up his second Rotax title since 2020.
Yeah, so it's Bonanno, Roberts, Crow, McGinley, Foxworth. One question, did they decide that the pre-final was going to be the final before the pre-final was run?
Yes.
Yeah, so they were like on set. They're like, we're not going to run on Sunday.
Pretty much.
We don't want to go home.
Pretty much. I think, Crow was, Crow. He was like, no, I would have rather have raced in the rain, but I went along with what everybody else wanted to do. Yeah.
Good enough. All right, that wraps up the race report. Again, brought to you by Stilo USA for this year's U.S. Trophy Finals. We cap off our trackside coverage here with the 157th edition of the Debrief. When we get back, we'll give Dave an opportunity to wrap things up. We'll have a look at the Constructors' Championship. And as always, going to be one of our final EKN trackside live race calendars of the 2025 season. CRG is one of the most iconic brands in the world of karting with a never-ending focus on winning. Kart CRG USA is the North American distributor for all CRG products. Based outside of Houston, Texas, Kart CRG USA supports CRG dealers across the continent, reaching every corner of North America. The CRG KT5 has been designed specifically for the US market. The KT5 is the perfect fit for X30, KA100, and other tag platforms, featuring the new Aero package and VEN 11B braking system. For cadet drivers, the CRG Black Beer continues to log in victories and championships across the globe, and is utilized in both 2-cycle and 4-cycle competition here in North America. Longtime CRG drivers will be happy to know the CRG Road Rebel, the standard in quality and performance, continues its excellence for those in the shifter kart ranks. The CRG FS4 chassis is the ideal choice for racers in Briggs & Stratton competition, with numerous podium results across classes at the CKNA divisional and national events. From pure racing to karting entertainment, many tracks, both indoor and outdoor, have made the switch to the CRG Centurion rental kart line. 5 different models for both gas-powered or electric engines can fit any track's needs for a new rental kart fleet. Kart CRG USA has a full inventory of rental karts available for new and existing facilities. For more information on the CRG product line, head to kartcrgusa.com, or to inquire about a North American dealer near you, please email us at sales@kartcrg.com. In racing, experience is priceless. Franklin Motorsports is a leader in the karting industry, and with over 30 years of combined karting experience, we can provide you with everything you need to go racing. With a large online product selection, select track support events, and a wide variety of shop services, Franklin Motorsports is your complete karting source. Check out our online store at franklinkart.com, where all of our products are just a mouse click away. We continue to add to our growing product selection on the online store, and we ship daily to ensure products get to you quickly. We specialize in IAME engines, tilt seats, the Ceramic product line, Driveline branded products, Briggs & Stratton engines, Smoker performance sprockets, OTK products, AIM, MG tires, and of course, the championship-winning Merlin chassis. In our online store, you'll find a variety of items to fill your karting needs. Franklin Motorsports is also known for our wide variety of services and is home to Innovative Engine Works by FMS, our in-house engine service department. Frame straightening, kart prep, and dyno testing are all services offered regularly at Franklin Motorsports. Be sure to stop by the Franklin trailer during the United States Pro Kart Series events as the official trackside vendor. For all things karting, visit franklinkart.com. All right, back at it here to cap things off, the final segment for this edition of the Debrief, episode number 157, as David is giving us his full rundown from being trackside throughout the weekend at Newcastle Motorsports Park for the U.S. Trophy Final. David, wrap things up for us. As I read the notes, love seeing no red flags during the racing, which was good.
Yeah, no red flags during the racing. Obviously, there was a couple incidents during the practice day on Friday. I wasn't aware of it. Obviously running around doing notes, but a couple drivers that were injured, but able to nothing majorly serious in terms of those. I think a broken arm and maybe a collarbone for another driver. So, yeah, not good, but during the racing, no red flags. So that was the positive in terms of that. But again, Rob, as I said, there's just something about the Rotax. I don't know if it was, again, going from Briggs to Rotax that made it look like they were flying, going 100 miles an hour, but or maybe just in the reverse direction. It seems that way. I don't know, but man, they just looked super fast. The Senior Max guys it just seemed like they were flying around that racetrack. But I also like the reverse direction. I really do think it provides a great challenge, because obviously one of the biggest feedbacks from going reverse direction is there's no rumble strips. So if you drop a wheel, You're dropping a wheel. And that's a big focus for being faster or making mistakes. So I really like the reverse direction. It provides different passing opportunities. It flows really well. You got the hard break into I-70, the hard break into scoreboard, and then the rest of the race, even going into Cell Tower, it's a hard braking zone as well too. And I think that helps separate. But with the Rotax, man, the draft is so important. So we did have the packs that were grouped together, and it was very hard to kind of run away from anyone. So just great racing all around.
When I got a chance to drive it, when I raced the Summer Nationals a couple of years ago, I really liked it too. You need to get a chance to drive in that reverse direction. It's definitely a different approach than going in the normal direction, natural direction, for sure.
I really think Cup karts would be very, very fun in that direction.
That'd be cool. That would be really cool for them to change it up by going into a different direction. Let's put that bug in Greg Jasperson's ear for 2026.
Oh, definitely.
All right, let's have a look at the Oh no, pardon me, we're not done yet from the wrap up, because listen, the reason for majority of the people who were there, David, was to try to win a ticket, right? To try to become part of their national team. Give us some insight on Team USA.
Yeah, so we did have 3 drivers in total joining. I'm trying to get my sheet up here yet. 3 drivers in total joining Team USA. Obviously, Oliver Hodgson winning the Senior Max ticket, Paulie Massimino winning the DD2 ticket that was available in the Senior Max category for running second. Excuse me. And then Isaac Malkit winning the Junior Max ticket. Now that is still up in the air due to age restrictions. He's a 15-year-old driver where they cap it at 14, but due to his size, they're looking to get a provision to allow him to race in the Junior Max category. So we're hoping to hear more about that either today or throughout this week to hear what the FIA rules on that. So those 3 drivers will join Team USA for 2025. That is right now sitting at a total of 10 drivers. So you have Enzo Di Janeiro sitting the only Mini-Max driver with the Rotax Winter Trophy title, Kyle Drysdale Junior Max, and Davin Roberts in Junior Max. Drysdale winning his at the RMC USA West event, while Roberts won the Winter Trophy program. Cooper Leclerc, another driver coming from the RMC USA West event. He'll race in the Senior Max division along with Charlie Smith. Now, Charlie Smith, you may be wondering, well, we haven't seen him all year long. Well, he's been racing over in Europe. He actually got his ticket over in Europe, so he will be part of Team USA in the Senior Max division.
Interesting.
Macy Williams, another driver winning outside the U.S. She got her DD2 ticket from the Max group that is in Western Canada. So she got her ticket there. So she'll be making a return back to Team USA in the DD2 category. And then I was told that Christopher Mann is going to replace the Phil DeLeo in the DD2 Masters category. So we're waiting to confirm that. But right now, that is the 10 drivers that will represent Team USA at the Rotax Grand Finals in Bahrain, beginning November 29th through December 6th. So a week-long event to celebrate Rotax racing.
All right, let's have a look at the Constructors Championship. 3 different brands winning over the 5 victories on the weekend. A couple of the brands, David, doubling up.
Yeah, Comp Cart doubling up with Hodgson and Bonanno taking the 2 wins in Senior Max and Masters Max. Burrell Art sweeping the cadet divisions, both mini and micro, while Ellen Racing Cart winning in the Junior Max division with Isaac Malkit.
All right, let's wrap this edition of the Debrief up with the look at the EKN Trackside Live race calendar to let you know where we're going to be over the next couple of weeks. This edition of the calendar presented by OTK USA. All over the karting world, everyone knows OTK is the gold standard for quality and performance. In the United States, OTK USA is the source for all things OTK. From the legendary Tony Kart brand to the race-winning Cosmic, Esprit, Red Speed, and EOS chassis, and now the new Gallard, Lando Norris, and Carlos Sainz brands, OTK quality is second to none. To learn more about a specific product line or to find the OTK USA dealer near you, visit otkusa.com. All right, DC, 2 more events on the docket still for 2026. That is, unless I make the run down to the PRI show in December. Otherwise, we're going to Vegas. You spent a majority of your year at Newcastle Motorsports Park, but you're going to cap things off with a couple of trips to Las Vegas. You and I, for the first time together, will make a trip to Rock Vegas, presented by Rock Cup USA. That event really in only just a little over a week's time here now. In fact, you'll be there, I think, right, within a week. October 28th and November 2nd, Rock Vegas tackles the Rio Hotel and Casino.
I don't think I've landed yet, but yeah, a week from now I will be in the air to Las Vegas. Yeah, it'd be travel day, and we'll be trackside right away because Tuesday they have the engine raffle for the new Rock SV Pro category, so we'll be covering that. We'll already hit the paddock pass that afternoon with some more details about the event and other news that is going on. But my second time going to the Rock Vegas event. Excited to get back to the Rio, the new remodeled hotel and casino in Las Vegas. And it should be an exciting event. Over 300 entries. We're going through the entry list right now to record our outlap that'll be coming tomorrow, and it'll be on the EKN Radio Network on Thursday and on a podcast on Friday. So we'll have our preview articles starting today with cadets. We'll do juniors, I believe, the next day, masters the next, and then the senior categories after that. So we'll have a 4-article preview series looking at the 11 categories that will be competing in Las Vegas.
Yeah, David will be trackside on Tuesday. I'll roll in on Thursday night. I'll be in the commentary box alongside DJ Clark, and we'll have Jackson Lambros down on pit lanes. Excited to be part of the commentary team for this year's Rock Cup USA Rock Vegas event. They, of course, stream their coverage free on YouTube. So go to the Rock Cup USA YouTube channel. You'll be able to watch all of our coverage from Friday, Saturday, and Sunday action to find out who comes away as the big winners at Rock Vegas. And then, David, a couple of weeks after that, we're back at it again. We get a weekend off at home, and then essentially we're out of home on the Monday to get down to the SuperKarts USA Super Nationals, the 28th edition of the race, out again for another year at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway, the biggest race in North American karting, set to go November 12th to the 16th.
Yeah, we're waiting on entry list for that. Registration, I believe, closes on Sunday, so the 26th. So they'll finally have their final numbers. They'll have their wait lists and cancellations figured out. Hopefully by then, I think we're going to do our preview series starting on, I'm looking at my calendar here, November 4th. That's when we'll start our preview series, as we'll be at Rock Vegas. I believe now is the last day to get hotels for the Westgate locked in.
I think I saw that. Yeah.
Again, fourth time at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Went there back in 2021, and we've been there the last 3 years now. So excited to see. I think they're going to do a little bit of a track revision compared to last year, move some things around, and so excited to see what that entails. Excited to see the massive fields that are going to be competing. We know a lot of them are already sold out. So yeah, massive fields. We got some driver changes happening going into the event as well too. So yeah, the silly season for 2026 is already on and ready to go. Yeah, lots to kind of cover in that short amount of time before we head to Vegas for a second time.
Yeah, obviously, we get back on the Friday the Monday rather from Rock Vegas right into coverage for the Super Nationals. As David mentioned, he'll be rolling out all the class by class previews. David will also knock out a couple of outlap preview podcasts for that event as well, as we'll make our predictions as we always do. So it's going to be a couple of more podcasts. There's going to be a lot of podcasts coming over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, we'll do our debrief on November 4th, so that'll be up the next day. And then the next 2 days, we'll try and hammer out the outlaps to get those done and out and playing before people do arrive in Las Vegas, so they can kind of hear what we're saying. We'll obviously have our predictions up on social media on that Monday morning or Monday afternoon on the 10th to kind of give everybody that the little ammo to either motivate themselves, the bulletin board material to motivate themselves and become the next Danny Formal to yell at us while celebrating their victory.
That's it. We're either going to pick you to win or be in the top five, or we're going to give you the motivation to prove us wrong, just like Danny Formal did.
I was already getting hit on this weekend about predicting people in the top five. Oh yes.
Wow.
Oh yes. See, these Masters drivers, man, they're really rough.
Are they a little ruthless on you or what?
Pretty much, yeah.
Wow. All right.
Oh, it's fun. I love it. It's good. It's good banter, right?
Yeah. Listen, we tell all the guys afterwards, we can only pick 5 people. Some guys are in, some guys are out. We love it when you prove us wrong. We want to see somebody that we didn't pick come up and show well. But the bottom line is there's 2 big races still to come, both in Las Vegas over the next month, under a month actually. It's October 21st here. We're of course wrapping up on Super Sunday on November the 16th. So less than a month apart, we're going to have these massive events at Las Vegas. Looking forward to being there once again. The 28th edition for me, again, for being at the Super Nationals and being on the broadcast team there. I still, for some reason, then the mind kind of don't remember everything from 10 to 15, but man, I can still recall 97, 98, 99, 2000 with just such vivid memory. It's an amazing thing. David, you'll be back for another one as well. What number is it for you? You're way up there too now.
It'll be my 20th.
This is your 20th.
That's 20th, amazing. Yeah, because I did not attend the 2007 one due to child being born. Yeah. But yeah, my 20th.
There you go. Perfect. All right, folks, that wraps up this edition of the EKN Debrief, episode 157. David took us through all the action from the U.S. Trophy Final, adding more names to Team USA to be part of the Rotax Grand Finals in Bahrain. As David mentioned, the end of November, start of December. That'll be, with not much going on, the karting world will be focusing on that. We'll have lots of coverage of that as well, remotely from the office back here in North America. But again, best of luck to all of those who were able to get tickets to go to the Grand Finals this year. Congrats to all the winners of this year's U.S. Trophy Final. Shout out to the promotion team as well for setting a new record at 104 entries. If all goes well, they'll see 110, 120 in 2026. Thanks for joining us on this edition of the Debrief, folks. On behalf of David Cole, my name's Rob Howden. Bye for now.